And one of the lessons that really stuck with me, even now in my adulthood, was a lesson on decision making. And the concept was, we would get a scenario and then, it would kind of end with, all right, so this person has to make a decision based on the scenario. And we were asked to provide three possible ways to handle the situation. And then 3 possible consequences for that, whether they are good or bad. And then provide some kind of outcome based on one of the solutions that we provided. And so, when I was teaching the class, we had a workbook and they gave little scenarios oh, Johnny was offered cigarettes by his friend Tom. Should Johnny take the cigarettes from Tom? And then you provide 3 possible solutions. Johnny could say no and run away. Johnny could take the cigarettes from Tom. And Johnny could respectfully decline. And then the consequence could be, if Johnny decided to run away, then Tom may, think that he's a coward and make fun of him at school the next day. Another consequence could be that, if Johnny accepted the cigarettes, he could get really sick and get in trouble with his parent. And then the third one could be Tom may appreciate Johnny's decision and walk away calmly. And the last step of that 3-step process would be to write out how this scenario would end. So nonetheless, it was just a really cool exercise that helped me in terms of understanding decision making, and something that I continue to do in my adulthood. So fast forward to working with the member of my team, when they would come to me on an ongoing basis, I saw this as an opportunity to teach them this particular problem-solving technique. And so when we had our next one-on-one meeting, I explained to them, I appreciate you coming to me, and I think that clearly you respect my perspective, and I want to continue to provide that, but I also want to empower you to have your own perspective and to find your own solutions. So rather than come to me with the problem, I would like you to brainstorm at least 3 different solutions. And if you're worried, come up with 3 different consequences, and then you and I can talk about it, and then we can, make a decision from there. But I want you to do the initial thinking of how the situation could be handled, and I will just kind of act as a guide, so to speak, to help you navigate which one is the best solution. And, they appreciated that, and within a week, we went through a few scenarios. There was an issue that came up, and they told me, I could do this, or this, and we kind of talked through what was most effective, and then they were able to proceed. But I'll say after that week, it came to me less and less. It was more of a situation of, hey, this happened, this is how I handled it, I just wanted to let you know. And I thought that was really cool because, 1, I used a technique that I learned all the way in junior high school, but 2, it did what I intended it to, which was to empower that individual to make their own decisions, to find their own solutions based on their own creativity and their own perspective.